Hey guys, it's Lemming Rush. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important skills in the game. And this is going to key in with situational awareness. It's not going to be weak sweats or anything like that, but it's going to be the ability to leave a flank. Now, you can see we're on the map Ensk. It's a standard game. I'm going to pause it here because obviously I've decided to go city. But what's happening is I'm deciding to go city on Ensk in a medium tank. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because they have two clickers. I don't want to be playing the field, even though the majority of their team is medium tanks, and I would love to be impacting the medium tank side by, fighting the majority of their team over in the field. I'm not going to be able to do that, or at least I didn't think I would be able to because of the way that they had 2 RD, and I typically get XGM focus. So I'm going to the city. What I like to do here is I like to poke around this corner. A lot of the times you can catch heavy tanks driving into position that are unaware, and I want to point this out. I'm with the defender. After I take my first shot, I often look at my surroundings. You'll notice I've got a defender with me. There's a Leopard 1 way behind us who's just sort of sitting there waiting for us to die, and I'm like, I'm not going to beat an E5 and a pattern with the defenders. So what I decide to do is I just decide to get out of there. The Leopard 1's not going to help us. Unfortunately, my team's defender is just going to stay there, but there's no way in hell we could have beaten an E5 and a pattern, and you can see 2 more tanks show up on that side. So what I'm doing is I've just decided to run away. A lot of people like to try to defend their weaker flank. It's a lot more valuable to be the guy who pushes the 0 line instead, because what will happen is if I just try to defend against the E5 or something and prevent them from pushing into our base, I'm not going to beat an E5 and an STB1 on a city map in a 1v1. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing the other side, and I'm going to base that timing off of what I see on the 2 line. And that's just sort of like what's happening in the grand scheme of things. Right now, what you can see I'm doing is I'm playing the field. This is normally how I'd play the field. I go sort of right next to this wood pile right here. And you can see I'm just sort of looking for shots on people. This is me playing the field. Every single shot I take, I'll be checking the minimap. I want to see what's going on in the city, because if they start pushing through the city and they're about to get on our cap, I need to push through my side and start to get on their cap. So I'm taking as much time as I can, but I'm basing that decision off of what I see on the 2 line. Now, at a certain point in time, this RU dies, a clicker dies, and there's just a T30 left. That's going to be my cue to start pushing in. If you look at the map, they've got like 8, well not 8, but they've got a ton of tanks pushing down the 2 line. Our singular Leopard and the M53 are not going to be able to hold that off. So combined with the fact that this T30 is alone, I've decided to push through, and that's going to give us the ability to either cap out or come back and defend the base, but we want to be able to cap out if we really need to, because that's going to be really helpful for us. You can see the RU shoots me, I auto-aim him and fall back. Eventually we're going to push into this T30, then we're going to start capping out, because you can see, or we're going to give ourselves the ability to cap out. We don't cap out in this game, but having the option to is really, really strong. So right now we're up on tanks, but I would say they're sort of up on positions. If they had put those 5 tanks on cap, it'd be very difficult for us to all YOLO back down the tracks and reset. What I'm doing is I'm playing the tracks here. That's going to give me shots on the pilot. I take a snapshot, get very lucky that it hits, but it does, so I'm not complaining. And I'm going to start sort of pushing into the tracks because I expect them to send, 3 people on their cap. Right here, the E5's there. He shoots the whatever it's called. I noticed the Jagdpanther sort of just doesn't know how to drive, so I don't really expect a lot from him. This is just reading players. I'm going to be able to poke on him and sort of minimize my risk. I don't expect that guy to have very good reaction times based on how he was driving. So you can see he wasn't really looking at me. I take a shot, he misses point blank, and that was just me reading his driving ability, and obviously he missed his shot. So right here, I noticed there's a Scorpion to my left. The Jagdpanther died. There's an E5 to my right. I see the Scorpion coming. He gets hit by the clicker. I snapshot him, luckily. That's going to be lucky, of course, but, I'm not really going to complain about luck for it happens, whatever. Right here, we're brawling the E5. The STB1's turret isn't very strong. I decide to take a hit from the E5 because I didn't get hit by the Scorpion. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get to this side of the map. You can see the Pershing starts pushing into me, and suddenly we have, the game sort of looks relatively close considering they have a full HP E5. That being said, the M48 sort of, they're sort of giving this position to me. I'm in a decent position. The railroads generally mid-game, when they have the city and you have the field, are very strong, but they sort of made it really, really, really easy for me, and they just kept driving in front of my guns, so for whatever reason. The E5 shoots, so does the Pershing, so I'm going to poke on the E5, trying to pen him here. I don't think this pens. It happens though, because the E5's got good armor. I see the Scorpion poke onto me. I'm a bit too late. He manages to track and ammo rack me, and yeah, there's that. Just a quick note, the STV1's ammo rack is right, same place as basically all the mediums are. It's right here. So that's where the Scorpion shot me to ammo rack me and track me at the same time. I mean, this game's pretty much over. You can see there's not much skill involved anymore. It's just sort of shooting the Pershing who kills himself and then driving into the T-54 Mod 1. So, I mean, I can go over this. I sort of fail against this 54 Mod 1. I had heat loaded. You can see I end up putting a shot through his turret there. But I mean, that's pretty much it. The importance of this replay, the only reason I was able to do 4.7k damage was because I played the city, I decided I want to go there, and then I saw an E5 and a pattern, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So I went and rushed the 0 line instead, timing that off of what I saw in the city. And by pushing the field in a timely manner, I prevented them from pushing the city and getting behind us. I'll go explain this in a map tactic, but that's the gist of this game. And I just wanted to show that if I hadn't run away, there's no way in hell I would have had a 5k or 4.8k damage gain. So yeah. Alrighty, so for this game, what happened is I went and played the 2 line. I saw it didn't work, and I decided to play the 0 line. The most common mistake players make is they see that their whole team isn't going city, for example, and they will go defend the city. That's the wrong thing to do because you're relying on some pubby to go push the other side of the map, and a lot of the times they won't even know that's what they have to do. So in this case, instead of relying on my teammates to push the 0 line, I said, okay, we're not going to beat this E5. We're definitely not going to beat the E5 with a pattern. Let's just leave. I'm not going to win that fight. Let's go fight something I can win. And I decided to play the field. Now, this sort of goes back into the defending thing. It's much easier to push aside and sort of base it off of what you see on the other side of the map, as opposed to just like holding off for as long as you can and hoping that your team pushes down this side. So what I did is I took matters into my own hands. We pushed down the 0 line. Obviously, the team helped immensely with that, but we were able to do it, and that sort of allowed us to, it gave us the option to cap out. It gave us the rails. Obviously, the rails were very strong for me. I was able to do very well from there, and that's sort of like the gist of this game. If I hadn't run away, if I had tried to defend this weak flank, I would have been stuck brawling like 5 tanks in my STB1 with a Leopard 1 who is like back here just sort of sitting there telling us to fall back. So that's my experience with this game. Obviously, I know the typical advice on the forums or whatever is that you have to defend the weak flank. That's, in my experience, definitely not what you want to do, because you're not going to rely. I mean, it never works. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But I would highly suggest that you try playing the stronger flank. Try to push that side. At least win the side that you're on, and that way you're not right. Like if you were in the field or something and you hadn't pushed through and they had pushed through the city, obviously you'd be in a wicked crossfire right here with enemies here and enemies here, and you'd sort of be bowled up here. Obviously, you're not going to win that scenario. So you have to push these guys out. That way you can deal with the other side of the map. And it all sort of, it stems from not playing the side you're going to lose. Play the side you can win so you can take the initiative, because, TD, with a 45% win rate sitting back here is definitely not going to take that initiative. So I hope this video made sense. I realize that sometimes I go on tangents or whatever, but I think most of what I've said sort of applies. So I hope this video is helpful. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye. So for some reason people have been asking me to go over the end plates. I find this shit boring, but I'll just put it at the end of the video, I guess, because it makes sense. It's the most boring part. Basically what happened in this game, I got a Mastery First Class, 1662 XP with a premium account, high caliber, 70k credits, 4700 damage. Obviously I came top on the team because, in a tier 8 game like this, 5k damage is huge. You can see I lost 9k credits, 22 shots fired, etc, etc. So I would just sort of pause the video if you really care about these. Thanks for watching. Again, I'll probably put this after my map tactic part, so I don't really know yet. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye. I'm so bad at these outros, man.